This is a breaking news alert from 24-Hour News 8.
Now on 24-Hour News 8 at 6, we're on top of several breaking stories, and we start with a historic ruling.
A federal judge has just struck down Michigan's ban on same-sex marriage, saying it's unconstitutional. We have team coverage starting with 24-Hour News 8's Danny Carlson at the live desk. Danny?
Well, Sue and Brian, basically the ruling says that Michigan's marriage amendment, which was approved by voters 10 years ago and defines marriage as between a man and a woman, is unconstitutional. The Attorney General's office has already appealed the decision and is seeking an emergency stay. Now, Judge Bernard Freeman said in his ruling today that Michigan's marriage amendment violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. He says that his decision, quote, affirms the enduring principle that regardless of whoever finds favor in the eyes of the most recent majority, the guarantee of equal protection must prevail. The ruling says that the Attorney General's claim that the case challenges the will of the people shows that it lost sight of the case being about people. Not so, says the Attorney General in a press release issued minutes after the decision came down. The AG says that the marriage amendment passed, became a part of the state's constitution, and he will defend it. The judge did not stay his opinion pending the outcome of an appeal.
You know what? We're just another family who's just trying to do what's right and to protect our family, and that's what we're getting.
The Grand Rapids Catholic Diocese just sent us a statement saying, quote, we believe that marriage is a unique relationship between one man and one woman that needs to be promoted and strengthened. Marriage is a gift from God, rooted in nature itself, affirmed by the wisdom of the ages, not by society, religion, or government. Now, the Attorney General's office did file an emergency request for an appeal and a stay of the ruling. And I can tell you, when 24-Hour News 8 was in Detroit for an earlier hearing, some county clerks there, like Oakland County, for example, did say that if this was the ruling, they would immediately start issuing marriage licenses. I just gave Oakland County a call. That clerk's office, of course, closed at about 4:30 today, about a half an hour before the ruling was issued. At the live desk tonight, Danny Carlson, 24-Hour News 8.
Danny, thank you. We want to give you perspective now on where gay marriage stands in our country. The states you see colored in have legalized same-sex marriage. All of the other states either have bans on it, no law either way, or some level of protection for domestic partners.
Joining us live in studio with more on this is Cooley Law Professor Kurt Benson. Kurt, thanks for coming in tonight.
Sure.
I want to read from the judge's conclusion here in his order today. He says, in attempting to define this case as a challenge to the will of the people, state defendants lost sight of what this case is truly about, the people. Take us inside this ruling. First of all, this decision not to issue a stay. What do you make of that?
That's a very aggressive move on the judge's part. I'm really quite surprised by it, because you would think that the judge would not want the disruption that's sure to follow this decision. Because under this decision, without a stay, come Monday morning, county clerks, there's some 86 counties, will start after issuing marriage licenses for same-sex couples. And the clerks are frantic because they literally don't have the forms for it. Their forms say husband, wife, fill it in. And so I'm kind of surprised that he didn't issue the stay. Now, of course, Attorney General Schuette is going to revisit that. He's filed an emergency motion for the judge to hear. If the judge refuses to issue it, he can quick run down to Cincinnati and ask for an emergency stay from the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, who very well might issue it.
So they still have options, and you're saying the timing of this decision late on a Friday afternoon was no mistake.
I don't think so, because I think he didn't want all of a sudden the county clerks to be blindsided with a bunch of people walking in, which could happen. I mean, it's not that there are that many same-sex couples looking to get married, but as a social movement and as a protest, I think there's a lot of people who want to. The media will show up and they want to be the first ones to be legally married in Michigan and the like. So I think he wanted to avoid that. So he issues it late on a Friday. Nothing's going to happen until Monday. But again, he has not issued this day. And I think his theory is, well, every day that goes by violating somebody's constitutional right is a day you can never get back. And therefore, that's his theory.
So we have this patchwork of states in this country now starting to lean toward going toward same-sex marriage. Logistically, logically, where does this end up?
Oh, the United States Supreme Court, certainly. This case probably won't, only because there's so many cases ahead of it. This is what, the 7th, 8th judge now, who has struck it down as unconstitutional. So this will clearly end up before the United States Supreme Court, if not this term, the following term. This case might get swept up in those cases, or it might be sitting in the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals waiting for the United States Supreme Court to decide it, but they will decide it definitively.
Kurt Benson with Cooley Law, we appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming in on Friday. Love having you. Our coverage of this historic ruling will continue throughout the night. We'll have complete reaction tonight at 10 and 11 on your 24-hour news aid.